So you talked about it last week, I believe it might have been the week before, in regards to Jarren Williams' play, that it's been conservative, too conservative, that he's got to cut it loose. And again, I pointed to the 35 points given up to Boston College that doesn't have nearly the receiving threats that Miami or Duke putting up 45 last week, that this would just seem to, if the offensive line can do its job and give them just enough time to find those creases in the secondary, there should be some plays out there to be made.
Yeah, and I mean, Jarren loves throwing the intermediate passes. The short balls, you know, the now screens, the bubble screens, the slants and things like that, those are great, you know, and Jarren Williams, he'll fit in, you know, the square in. The 15-yard square in is pretty much always open if you can block to give time for the receiver to get to 15 and then break it off. You know, but Jarren loves that route. To KJ Osborne especially. He's thrown a couple to Jeff Thomas, but mainly to KJ. Bro, the 15-yard square in, money. But yeah, you know, when you have those vertical shots, you got to hit them. You know, you cannot underthrow Jeff Thomas when he's open by 15 yards, or Mark Pope on that play action pass. You know, when you have a chance to air it out, throw that bit. Let it go. Like, I mean, Randy Moss once famously said on, I think it was on Monday Night Football, he said it to Dante Culpeppers, hey, chuck it up there, dog. Chuck it up there. Let him go get it. You know, this is what these guys are there for, especially those speed burners. Mark Pope, Jeff Thomas, chuck it. These guys, look, especially if you get a half a step, if they're even, they're leaving. You know what I mean? Like, just, but you got to hit those. Shane Meehan is a Virginia Tech fan, and I see you. And I saw that score prediction. I'm going to finish this point. I'm going to come back to that. Yeah, thank you, Mark. But, you know, if you have the opportunity for the vertical shots, sometimes you have to take calculated risks. You got to throw that ball. And I know that, you know, again, we've talked about the fact that Jarren is not throwing an interception, and that's kind of become this entity of its own, this, you know, passes since he's thrown an interception, which is never in his career, although he threw a ball that could have been intercepted, or a few passes that could have been intercepted before. You know, even last year when he redshirted with that, you know, one game he played in, you know, again, he didn't see a linebacker. He's had a couple other balls tipped. But, yeah, you know, you got to take some chances and some chances down the field because, yeah, if you're not, then you're compressing the field vertically. And then, you know, obviously the safeties, they're going to put their heels at 12 and they're all going to come downhill towards everything you're doing because there's no threat to go behind them. Switching my focus, Seth says it's going to be 21-14 Virginia Tech. While I'm not going to discount that as being possible, because like I said, we're not anywhere where you can 100% guarantee that Miami's going to win. You don't believe that, Seth. You don't. You just wanted to put that up there and get my reaction. So, hey, this is the attention that you wanted. You don't believe that. You really honestly don't. Not for anything. Not based upon what you've seen. Maybe on what you hope. But you know, the Virginia Tech fan base, and obviously, you know, I know some of those guys and everything because, like, it's in the ACC. Mike McDaniel from the Basketball Conference podcast, good buddy of mine, Virginia Tech alum, writes for another Virginia Tech website. You know, and most of the fan base is talking about what can they do to fire Justin Fuente. You know, how can they raise the money for his $15 million buyout plus this, that, the third. Da, 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 da. So y'all talking about we going to fire Fuente right now after getting embarrassed at home and turn around and say, oh, yeah, but we're going to beat Miami. A, you don't believe that. B, you hope that. And 3, and I know I switched those up. This is the state of where Miami is, where a team in this kind of disarray can think realistically that they're going to come into Hard Rock Stadium down here in South Florida and win a game against Miami with a program and a team that looks the way that they've looked over the course of the year, like Mark said, you know, against Old Dominion and Furman and these teams from 1AA and things like that, and they're playing tight games with them and getting blown out by Duke. But, we're playing Miami this week? Light work. How's that supposed to make you feel? Like, come on, bro.
N'Kosi Perry was the quarterback of choice based on your evaluation, having not seen Jarren Williams on the field with the bullets firing. Once that decision was made, and it seemed to be very decisive by Manny Diaz in that he evaluated Jarren Williams obviously to be the best quarterback. Now that he's out there, there are mixed reviews on his play. I saw the Florida game. I saw the North Carolina game in condensed fashion. I thought he acquitted himself fairly well. I'm still understanding and keeping in perspective that he stepped on the field for the first time as the starter against Florida, which is a tough position to be in against that good of a defense in start number one. But I know that, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you had stated or somebody had stated that I respect, that N'Kosi Perry has the better arm, but Jarren Williams has a certain level of touch and anticipation and has arm talent that maybe is a little bit better than Perry.
Yeah, that was me. Kosi has a cannon. Jarren has a good arm and some touch. I think that the question, being, can Jarren throw accurate balls past 20 yards? We need to see it in practice. And I mean, okay, not in practice as in during a practice session. I mean, in a game setting in practice, not theory. You know what I mean? Because a practice on hard or on the green tree. Sorry, phone being stupid again. Apologize. This time every week. Sorry. Anyways, a practice on the green tree practice fields is fine. That's theory, though, to me. I need to see it during a game. Him being accurate down the field. But even against Bethune, you saw it when N'Kosi came in. Man, just the ball, just laser beams. I mean, he has. I don't see how after that you can really have any kind of debate about who has the stronger arm. But being the better quarterback, obviously, with the operations, of getting the team to the line, running the offense, all of those kind of things, being more accurate and protecting the ball, has to go to Jarren. But I mean, there's still areas to his game that need to improve, and hitting vertical throws needs to be one of them. And look, Sam Howell was in high school last year, and they turned some of those one-on-ones outside into 7-on-7, where there's no line, you get blocking enough. You don't concern yourself with anything. He wasn't even taking a drop from a shotgun. He was just looking and throwing one-on-ones. Just, those are recruiting camp routes. You know what I mean? Like just one-on-one to the outside, beat your man, call the play, and then you're going to throw it. Regardless of, I'm not even looking anywhere else. We're making this a one-on-one from a camp setting. And he hit those. I hate to compare our players to other teams' players, but if you get a true freshman at North Carolina to be able to hit some of those throws, why can we not have a redshirt freshman at Miami hit some also?